On the ground to make sure you support. We'll start off with Eric Waterman, East Office Village Inc., Executive Director, and he will announce. Yeah, no, anti-violence.
I'm going to ask all the anti-violence groups to come forward or who can speak so we can, we have elite learners here and we have drum in the house. So those that are going to speak to come forward. First and foremost, my name is Eric Waterman, Executive Director of East Flatbush Village Inc., Youth and Community Development Organization, anti-violence group. We wish we didn't have to be here and assemble like this for this reason. There are many reasons why we need to be assembling, but this is not one of them by which we should have to. But we are here and we are here to support the family, not just today. We know that there's days and years to come, we need to be able to support our community members, and we are here, and we thank all the community members for that. Day of the incident, we got a call from a community member. Community members came to the rescue, in a sense, to try to support and help Dorthy. It's community first that's really going to get it done, and we want to thank everybody for coming out. I see a lot of youth in the crowd as well, and just people just walking by and just wanted to bring their love and support to the family and uplift the family. So if nobody says it tonight, and I think everybody will, thank you. And again, we definitely need a lot more resources in the community of mental health support. And I know organizations like Elite Learners and Drum in East Flatbush Village have been working, and God Squad 6-7 Clergy Council have been working to try to make sure we bring those types of resources here into our community. Throughout the city, but definitely here in our community, with areas that are impacted by violence, not just gun violence, but violence. The mentality of pulling the trigger is the same as picking up another weapon and utilizing it, which has been unfortunate here in this case. And so we need to be able to support our community members, ask neighbors, have conversations, say good morning again, say good afternoon, say good night. How are you doing? Check in on one another. At the very least, we can do that. There's no cost, there's no expense to that. There's no budget line for that. All we have to do is really, really, really lean in to one another as a community. And I think we'll see some really great things. And it can't just be tonight, it has to live beyond that. So if each one of us do that, I promise you it'll spread like wildfire. And it'll be a wonderful, wonderful, uplifting moment. And I think that's something that we can definitely lean in the memory of Okay. At this time, I'm going to ask James Davis to come up from the Elite Learners to speak.
My condolences to the family of Elite Learners. I want to extend our condolences to the family of the Rozier and the Clarke family. Just wanted to say that our communities are underserved when it comes to mental health services. Our communities are underserved when it comes to the resources that we need to identify individuals who do have these violent tendencies that's roaming our neighborhoods. Our black men, our men in general, we got to step up. We got to protect women and kids and children instead of destroying each other out here. We got to make sure that we're here to do that. We filling up jails, we filling up cemeteries, we filling up hospitals, we feed a fish, we consider throwaway people, and until we recognize ourselves that we better than that, this is what's going to continue to happen. We gotta be able to identify abnormal behaviors in our communities and get them the proper help. We need people to send the resources, mental health units that roam these areas and identify people with mental health disorders. Because in certain communities I drive through, they don't have to worry about these things. They don't have to worry about people laying on the ground drunk, pissy, and people running around committing all kinds of violence. Those things they don't have to worry about because they have the resources to keep their people sane and keep their people happy, fed, and with housing and with all the things that as a human being we're supposed to be entitled to. But when you lose those things and when you got to fight every day to have those things, it creates mental health issues and it creates trauma. And this same mental health issues and trauma is concentrated in our communities. And this is what we got to wake up to every day, wondering if we're going to get back home to our kids and whether or not we're going to get back home to our families. This woman was innocent. She did nothing to nobody. All she ever wanted to do was go earn her money and bring it back to her family and live a good life, a woman. And she gets stabbed out in the streets. And my regret is that I wasn't there. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm one of the few men that would have jumped in front of that knife and defended that sister. And we need more men like that. Instead of trying to outdo each other, instead of trying to get a one-up on each other, let's do what a man is supposed to do. Defend our families, defend the kids, and defend the elderly. And that's just where, that's basically it for me.
Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to have representative from Drum come up and speak.
First and foremost, we want to extend our deepest condolences to Dorothy's family and to this community. I can only imagine the type of devastation that you're all feeling at this time. And I'll echo the sentiments of my brother who just finished speaking from Elite Learners. There is a saying, pain unspoken becomes anger unvented, becomes rage release, becomes violence. Let me say that again. Pain unspoken becomes anger unvented, becomes rage release, becomes violence. At the root of violence is pain. And every time we gather in these moments, because a violent attack has occurred in our community, and our brother articulated it so well. The lack of resources in particular communities is what perpetuates pain. Dr. King said that violence is the voice of the oppressed. And so if we're going to deal with the real issue of violence, we have to provide the resources to our communities, which, as my brother said, are very underserved. This is heart-wrenching to have to stand out here with this family in support of them because an innocent young woman lost her life because of a violent occurrence. And even though we look at the individual who enacted this vicious attack on this woman, and we will label him as a criminal, but I promise you, if you do a deeper dive into his life, you will discover some things that won't label him as a criminal. And there are so many others who are facing the same reality. And so until we begin to deal with the root causes of what's happening that's spurring the violence in our communities, we will continue to circle up and gather at these prayer vigils, and nothing changes until we change it. So I'm going to close with the same remarks that I opened up with. And I pray that this is a lasting impression upon our psyche so that as we move forward, we can keep in mind that even though we're addressing violence, if we don't address the pain that's at the root of violence, we will continue to have to address violence. Pain unspoken becomes anger unvented, becomes rage release, becomes violence.